So one thing you and I bonded over when we started talking around the pandemic time was how the pandemic really put a lot of restrictions on our freedoms and the censorships that was involved. Were you worried about putting a film like The Real Anthony Fauci? Did you think you would get censored or that it would hurt your career or you would get canceled as a writer? How did you feel about it?
I knew that nobody really would be okay with this documentary. Probably that this documentary would be censored anyway, but it wasn't a film or a project that I really felt like I could talk to people about unless it was, just the small group that I was working with. I had been writing up all these interview questions for all of these really brave people who have been standing up to the system, the corrupt health system, for decades. And yeah, a lot of them had their careers affected negatively because of it. But I felt what they were doing was so noble. It was so brave that I wanted to kind of stand in solidarity with them. And I was inspired to be brave. And again, this is a movie that spans about a century, so I had to have some of the historians that were in the book talk about the past. I had to have people who had their careers that spanned about 40 years, 30 to 40 years. And the interview questions had to span 4 decades really of their careers. And that entailed me to do research on each and every one of them, which was really actually exciting. It was so great. It was like just, it was a whole other level of this story and this book. Throughout the following months, I had to constant updates. So I not only wrote the script, but I also had to write up all of these interview questions. As the interviewees were being interviewed over the following months, I had to put in, what they said into the script. So the script was sort of like always molding, evolving. And then, of course, it all led up to COVID and how it's like all these small little these smaller studies, you can call them, or these smaller experiments that they have been doing over the century, kind of culminated into this huge worldwide experiment. Because really, what the vaccines are that are put out across the world, they're an experiment. They're experimenting on the people to see what happens to them, what happens to their bodies when we take this. And people don't know that they're part of an experiment.